Hi, and welcome to Tranquil Talks with Kris. This is your space to slow down and catch your breath from the noise and the chaos of work and life, a space where you can take the time that you need to think things through clearly, and a space where I hope that you'll feel supported to take just one small, intentional step forward in how you communicate and how you lead. I'm your host, Kris, and I'm really glad that you're here, truly. If you too are an introvert and you've been carrying a lot lately, I want you to know something. I see you. I've got your back. And this space right here, this space is for you. So you can put down what you've been carrying for a few minutes because you're safe here. If you've been with me through the Plant Framework series, which ran from episodes 8 through 13, I want to thank you so much, genuinely. That series I put together came from years of work inside of hybrid organizations. And sharing it on my podcast felt important and it felt right. And it's funny, something really interesting happened as I produced each one of the 6 episodes. Every single time after I recorded an episode, I would go down memory lane. I'd go into a period of pretty deep reflection into memories of what it actually felt like to be inside those organizations, experiencing the very things I was teaching and talking about when I went through the plant framework. And I was reflecting not as an HR leader or chief people officer, not as a solo consultant and coach I am now, but as the person, as the introvert that I am. I was in corporate HR for 30 years. 30 years of being deeply capable and genuinely committed, and also utterly exhausted in ways that I didn't always have words for. I spent 30 years navigating environments that were built by default for a different kind of wiring than mine. And as I recorded each and every plant episode, those memories just kept surfacing, and that's what brought me down memory lane. And I'll give it to you straight. Some of those memories, they were pretty painful. Others not as painful, thankfully more like a gentle tap on the shoulder. It helped be a reminder of something I already knew but needed to hear myself say again. And the work that I do with hybrid orgs, and my work focuses solely on helping hybrid orgs, hybrid clients redesign communication as their living operating system. That work matters. I know that it does, and I know that it creates real change. I also know it moves slowly. Of course it's going to, right? Systems take time to shift. Cultures take time to heal. But the naturally introverted person that sits inside that kind of organization, inside of that system, that person needs something now. I think about the individual contributor who finishes their day of back-to-back video calls and feels utterly hollowed out and may not be able to quite explain why to the people who love them. I think about the leader who has so much to contribute and yet keeps getting skipped over in meetings because the loudest voice got there first. I think about the team member who processes deeply, feels everything, and has learned to keep most of it inward because the world doesn't always make it safe to do otherwise. I think about these kinds of naturally introverted people a lot. I think about them because I was that person. I still am that person. I think about them because my beautiful mom was one of the very first people in my life who saw that my quiet wasn't a problem to fix. She continued to see me my entire life for who I am. And losing her last summer, wow, that has made me feel even more committed than ever to being what my mom was to me, being that for others. That voice that says, your wiring isn't wrong. You're not too much, and you're not too little. You're exactly who you are. And that deserves to be understood and supported and celebrated. That's not just my mission statement. It's personal. It's deeply personal. And it is the truest thing I know how to say. So here on my podcast, Tranquil Talks with Kris, here's what's changing and here's what's not going to change. So starting with this episode, Tranquil Talks is becoming two things at once. One episode each week will continue to be about the organizational work, communication as an operating system for hybrid teams, for leaders, for the people building cultures they're proud of. That work is important and it's not going anywhere. But the other episode I'm going to be doing 2 episodes every week. The other episode, this one and the ones that are going to follow, they're just for you, the individual, the introvert, the person who is doing their best in a world that keeps feeling heavier and noisier. The person who deserves a space that's genuinely, intentionally theirs. Together, we're going to explore what it means to design your own personal communication OS, operating system. Not an organizational system, your operating system. How you move through conversations that drain you. How you protect the energy that you need to do your best thinking. How you ask for what you need in a world that doesn't always think to ask. How you stop shrinking to fit spaces that were never sized for you in the first place. Together, we're going to take small steps, real shifts, and at your own pace. That's how lasting change happens, not in some big dramatic transformation. It's in the quiet, the consistent, the intentional moments that build on each other over time. So as we wrap up together, I want to leave you with something really simple today. No framework, no tips, there's no experiment. Just this. If you have ever felt like the world was designed for someone slightly different than you were right. It largely was. And that's not your fault, and it's not your failure. And it sure as hell doesn't mean that you don't belong. You do belong. You belong here in this space exactly as you are, the wonderful, incredible person that you are. And I'm not going anywhere. So I can't wait to keep spending more and more time with you each week. And for today, I thank you so much for spending this time with me today, for letting me be as expressive as I've wanted to be, and as I feel safe to be here in my little recording bubble. Until next time, please take good care of yourself. And know that here at Tranquil Talks with Kris, you are always welcome here. You belong. Cheers.